yes, I will contribute $5,000 if Peter Obi sues his accuser within a week. Omokri vows. Former presidential aide Omokri has promised to contribute $5,000 to the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi legal fees if he sues People's Gazette within a week. Nigerian News recalls that Obi had vowed to sue People's Gazette over the Yes Daddy phone call he had with the presiding bishop of Winners Chapel, Bishop David Oyedepo. He said that the attempts to manipulate Nigeria is very sad and wicked. Our legal team has been instructed to take appropriate legal actions against People's Gazette and others. Visiting the matter again, Omokri took to its Instagram handle to call out Obi for not keeping to his promise to sue the aforementioned publication. You know, as I said before, Omokri is just giving a slow decline of disrespect and devalue, in my personal opinion, because, you know, from where he came from, the comments he used to make, and his stance politically, to be honest. And, you know, I have a right, and everyone has a right to it, whether I agree or disagree with his political, you know, affiliations and what he decides to do and his opinions. Great. But it's just, like, he engages recently a lot in petty gossip. You know, things to just incite conversation, right? Like, it's so shameful. It's like you're grown. Like, you are actually grown. You are somebody. It's like, how petty and low can you really go? You know? How, like, okay, fine. Elections have ended. Great. Your principal did not win. Peter Obi didn't win. What's your issue? What's your problem? And I think he just comes across as such a petty person. And I think whether he's being used as a pawn, I don't understand. Because the conversations that you are choosing to put out there, I know, like, the guy doesn't have some sort of, you know, following or relevance. He does, you know. But it's just like, I just find it so shameful, right? Like, you're grown. So now he's bringing up something, knowing that, you know, it's like for Peter Obi and stuff, like, at the moment, it's not necessarily relevant. That's the thing. You just want to talk. You're bringing up conversation. Why? Your value just declines. Like, I don't get it. Like, can't you see it? You engage in such petty conversations. And I think this is a thing where it's like, if we're now foolish to then engage and say, how dare he say that to Peter Obi? You know, he's this, is that. But it's just like, come on now. Have respect for yourself. Because the more he does things like this, because it's like even during the elections, the build up to the elections, he keeps making comments. He just would be so petty to say just different things. And I think for me and my perception of him has just been a slow decline of respect. It's like he hasn't come to this level in my eyes in just one day. He's just said things, incited things, being provocative, being childish, in my opinion. You know, you said you're gonna sue People's Gazette. Have you sued them? It's giving immature on all levels. And for his age and the way he carries himself, there's a clash. You know what I mean? Like, okay, sir, for your age, this is not a behavior that's expected. You should not be doing this. But you have now decided that this is how you behave. And I just think that to a very large extent, it is quite shameful. And it's like, we understand that at this case, the legal issues he's focusing on is in the tribunal. Like, that is where his focus is. But you just want to bring up conversation about Peter Obi. It's like you're intentionally trying to just bring this man down. But it's so petty because, okay, fine, they're in court doing their own thing. But it's like, at this point, I'm beginning to think the beef is personal. At this rate. Literally. And I think, you know, because it's somebody like him, those that are already against Peter Obi or who are not fans, I mean, I'm not saying that people are not allowed to, you know, disagree with Peter Obi's whatever. If you don't support him, it's great. But I'm now talking about he then can attract extremists, you know, those that take their hatred to a different level. And I think that's where like maturity should come in, man. Like, come on. Are you not embarrassed? Because what you do is you then get like-minded people who basically have some sort of hate for Peter B. You create, an atmosphere, you create a platform for them to keep spewing hate and just immature conversations and, to carry on, the immaturity, bullying, whatever it is that you want to call it. You allow them to do it online because Omokri has a following. Even on Instagram alone, he has over 700,000 followers, right? So it's like, to an extent, you also have to take responsibility for how you carry yourself and the things that you say. It's so embarrassing. It's actually so shameful, and I'm trying to mind my words because he's actually a grown man, and this is what you're using your platform for. And I'm not just talking about this situation, the comment he just made about, Peter B paying $5,000 or da-da-da. It's like he's done this to Peter B and other situations so many times. So what is his aim? Like, what do you aim? What do you gain? I will contribute $5,000. Da, da, da. Does he need your $5,000? It's such cheap. That's the thing. It's like you're trying to create controversy and conversation in such a cheap way, right? But there's not that way to do that kind of thing without being cheap. But I think that's where my perception and my decline of him really comes from. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. Okay, fine. You don't have to support Peter B. His stance on NSAS, great. And then his turnaround. Okay, fine. You are a Nigerian in the Nigerian political space. I don't expect anything less, even though it was quite shocking. But now it's then the way he then chooses to show his opinion. And it's just, I think it's embarrassing. I think for a grown man who's been in the political space and calls himself a political analyst, at least of class and behavior, this is not something you should adopt, right? It's such a cheap way. What do you gain by saying, you know what, I will contribute $5,000? Wow, will $5,000 really change? Like, come on. I don't. It's so petty, and I think, what, let's go on his Instagram page, because I think this is where we see it. He literally would just post a picture of Peter B and his team and just start making comments. On Facebook, he would pick comments, crop them, post them on his Instagram, then address these commenters. Like, what a way to make yourself so cheap. And how would I then take you seriously as a political analyst? The political analyst that you don't even agree with. And that's fine. But the way you carry yourself and the way you make your arguments and just the way you compose yourself, the way you line your arguments, okay, you then give us the impression whether to respect or disrespect you. And I think that's where it is. So rather than go into petty discussions, why would he say that? No, let's assess this man's character and how he's really portrayed himself, because it's quite embarrassing. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.